Welcome back to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries. Tonight's story isn't about a haunted house or a shadow moving in the dark. Instead, we're exploring something stranger, a date on the calendar, a day that has unsettled people for centuries. Friday the 13th. For many people, it's just another day, but for others, it carries an uneasy weight. Flights are missed, meetings are postponed. Some buildings skip the 13th floor entirely, all because of a quiet superstition that whispers something might go wrong. So where did this fear come from? Why did this particular combination of a day and a number become one of the most famous unlucky dates in history? To understand that, we have to step back into the strange world of ancient beliefs. Long before modern calendars existed, numbers carried meaning. In many early cultures, the number 12 represented completeness and order. There were 12 months in a year, 12 zodiac signs, 12 hours on a clock face. Even ancient gods were often grouped in sets of 12. 12 felt balanced, perfect. But 13 was something else. 13 disrupted that balance. It was the number that came after completeness, a number that felt excessive, chaotic, almost intrusive. In Norse mythology, there's a story that may have helped shape this fear. According to legend, 12 gods were enjoying a peaceful banquet in Valhalla when an uninvited 13th guest arrived, the trickster god Loki. His presence sparked a chain of events that led to the death of the beloved god Balder. One extra guest, one number too many, and suddenly, tragedy followed. Stories like this planted the seed that 13 carried an unsettling energy. But the fear of Friday the 13th isn't just about the number. The day itself has a dark reputation as well. In medieval Europe, Friday was often seen as unlucky. According to Christian tradition, Friday was the day that Jesus Christ was crucified. Over time, this associated the day with suffering, loss, and betrayal. Other old traditions added to the gloom. Some believed Eve gave Adam the forbidden fruit on a Friday. Others said the Great Flood, described in the Bible, began on a Friday. Whether historically accurate or not, these stories shaped how people felt about the day. Friday slowly became the day when bad things happened. Now imagine combining an unlucky day with an unlucky number. Friday the 13th, a perfect storm of superstition. But one historical event may have strengthened the legend more than any other. In the early 14th century, a powerful group known as the Knights Templar had become incredibly wealthy and influential across Europe. They were warrior monks, guardians of pilgrims, and rumored keepers of immense secrets. This power made them enemies. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the sudden arrest of hundreds of Templars across his kingdom. The operation was swift and brutal. Many were tortured, accused of heresy, and eventually executed. It was one of the most shocking betrayals of the medieval world, and it happened on a Friday the 13th. Some historians believe this event helped cement the date's reputation as cursed, but the fear didn't truly explode into global culture until much later. In fact, the idea of Friday the 13th as a widely recognized unlucky day became popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Newspapers began printing stories about strange accidents occurring on that date. Authors used it as a dramatic backdrop for suspenseful tales. One influential novel, published in 1907, was titled Friday the 13th. It told the story of a stockbroker who intentionally triggered financial chaos on that day, knowing people already feared it. The concept captured the public imagination. Soon, buildings began skipping the 13th floor. Hotels avoided room number 13. Airlines sometimes avoided row 13 entirely. The fear even gained a scientific name, paraskevidikatriaphobia, a word that literally means fear of Friday the 13th. But here's the strange twist. Statistically, Friday the 13th is no more dangerous than any other day. Researchers who studied accident rates, hospital visits, and insurance claims have found little evidence that the day itself causes more misfortune. In some cases, there are actually fewer accidents, possibly because people behave more cautiously. Which raises an interesting question. If the danger isn't real, why does the fear feel so powerful? The answer may lie in something deeply human. Our minds are designed to recognize patterns. When something unusual happens on a day we already think is unlucky, it sticks in our memory. If you spill coffee on a normal Tuesday, you shrug it off. But if you spill coffee on Friday the 13th, suddenly it feels like proof the superstition is real. We remember the strange events, the coincidences, the things that go wrong, and we quietly forget all the ordinary Friday the 13ths when nothing happens at all. Over time, the myth feeds itself. Then, of course, there's modern pop culture. In 1980, the horror film Friday the 13th introduced the world to one of cinema's most iconic villains, Jason Voorhees. The movie turned the already eerie date into a symbol of dread for an entire generation. After that, the phrase Friday the 13th became permanently linked with danger, bad luck, and the unknown. But step back for a moment, and the date becomes something fascinating. It's not really about bad luck. It's about belief. A number feared for thousands of years, a day connected to ancient tragedy, a medieval betrayal, a modern horror story, layer after layer of history and myth, all stacking on top of one small square on the calendar. And yet, most Friday, the 13ths pass quietly. The sun rises, the day moves forward, life continues as normal. Still, when the date appears again, many people pause, just for a moment, because superstition has a strange power. Even when we know the story behind it, a small part of the mind still wonders, what if? And that quiet question is exactly where myths are born. So tonight, when the calendar turns to Friday the 13th, listen closely, not for bad luck, but for the echoes of old stories that refuse to fade. And if you enjoyed tonight's mystery, don't forget to subscribe to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries, where history, folklore, and the unexplained come together in the quiet hours of the night. Until next time, sleep well.